Good morning, Insta. So, as promised, my friend and I are here to talk to you about how I come up with my blends that I'm always sharing with you. So first and foremost, let's talk about what a diffuser is. And my Davi, hi. Let's talk about what a diffuser is and why you would want to use it. So diffusers come in all different sizes and have like all different kinds of bells and whistles, but basically they combine water and essential oils and use an ultrasonic technique to mist them out into the air. And they all have a fill line. So this one has this little red mark. Some have like an actual physical line in them. If you overfill them, they don't work. So just a heads up, because I get that question a lot. I got my diffuser and now it doesn't work. So you don't want to overfill them. What I usually do is I fill it up with water first and then add the oils. And a question I get all the time, excuse me, is how much oil do I add to my diffuser? And that's actually a relatively complex question to answer because it depends on the diffuser itself. So this is sort of like a medium-sized diffuser where I would use like a medium amount. And it also depends on the oil itself and the how intense you want it to be. So I like mine to be really strong. I tend to add more oil rather than less. And there's other people who use less oils. If you were putting it like, say for example, close, in your baby's room, you might want to use less. If you were putting it in maybe you can see the ceilings are really high here. So I use a little bit more. So it depends on the oil, it depends on the space, it depends on the diffuser and how strong you want it to be. And, oils come in different varieties, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. So it really depends on what oil it is. An example of an oil I would not use a lot of if I was going to put it in a diffuser would be like oregano. It's very strong, it's super overpowering, and if you use more than a drop, it's the only thing you will smell. If that's all you want to smell, that's fine. But if you're wanting to like combine oils and have like a synergy between them, then you want to use less of some of the stronger, more potent oils or the thicker oils. So generally when I'm coming around to making a diffuser blend, one of the things I think about is, actually there's a couple things. One is, what is the energy that I'm trying to bring into my space? Am I trying to be like invigorating and bright and sparkly? Am I trying to be calming and soothing? Am I trying to clear the energy? Do I want it to be like detoxifying? Do I want it to be invigorating? And I will choose oils depending on whatever it is I'm trying to, like whatever type of energetic and emotional mood. Remember that when you breathe in oils from the diffuser, what happens is the aroma interacts with olfactory centers in your nose and goes right to the emotional part of your brain. So if you're using oils, actually the most effective way to use them is through aromatic use, inhaling with, say, for example, a diffuser. So it's a really potent way to change your emotions and to affect and to complement your emotions. So think about what kind of emotional response you want to have, what kind of emotional energy you want to bring into your space, and that's a good way to go about choosing the oils you're going to use in your diffuser blend. Now, if you're not sure how an oil is going to make you feel, open it and smell it. So for example, I have here lemon. If I open and smell lemon, it's really like bright and clean and like sunshiny. It is not an oil just on the surface. If I smell it, it would make me feel like I want to go to sleep. On the other hand, I have here vetiver. And vetiver, when I open it, it's sort of woodsy and warm and nutty and thick and sort of slowish feeling. And so it has a more energetic quality that would seem kind of sleepy to me. And that's not me saying this from like an aromatherapy knowledge place. It's just what my instantaneous reaction to the oils are. So trust when you open them and smell them what it feels like to you, because you're usually right, okay? The other thing is, open up your box of oils, See which one is calling to you. Usually that's the one you need. I know that sounds like a crazy sort of woo thing to say, but it's actually true. So what energy do you want to be bringing into your space? That's a really important question to ask when you're making a diffuser blend. And then the second thing is I like to use the sort of, I guess the way to say it is like the fragrance industry standard of notes, the notes, top note, middle note, base note. And the top notes are the ones that sort of diffuse the fastest. An example of that would be the citruses and the mints. Those are good, the bright top, sparkly, energizing, like oils. Those are the good ones to do for the morning. Those are the good ones to do when you need to wake up, when you need to be motivated, when you need to be energized. And those are the oils that if you make a diffuser blend with a whole bunch of things, they'll be the first thing that hit you and the ones that diffuse the fastest so they don't last as long. Generally, when you're using top notes, so again, those are citrus and mints, those are oils that you can use more of because they evaporate faster. They don't linger in your diffuser. So say I did a diffuser that I filled up my diffuser with like lemon and peppermint, 2 top notes. After it's gone, it won't really smell extensively like that. It'll have like a little low grade smell of lemon and peppermint in the diffuser. I just rinse it out and it's gone. They're quick, they're flashy, and they don't linger in the diffuser. You can just kind of rinse it out and they're gone. Quick, fast, sparky, like a cup of coffee, okay? Those are the top notes. Citrus and mints really fall into that category. The second level is the middle notes, and these are ones that are not super bright and sparkly, but they're also not slow and grounding. They're somewhere in between. And things that fall into this category are generally the herbal oils, so things like coriander and rosemary, cilantro, basil. Some of those tend to be a little bit more basy. Some of them tend to be a little bit more top note, but they're all in that middle area. Also, I think the resins fall into this area. So that's things like frankincense, myrrh, and maybe copaiba, and the florals. So rose, geranium, lavender, all of those kinds of things. Those are sort of in the middle note. And lavender, of course, is a great example of this. These are ones that if you put them in a diffuser blend, they'll be the middle thing, they'll be the second round of oils that you smell. So if you have a blend, say for example, that is lemon, lavender, and something else, the first thing you'll smell is lemon, the second thing you'll smell is lavender, and lavender will linger a little bit longer. It won't last as long as a base note, but it's kind of like that middle space. So if you're looking for something that can work sort of for uplift, but also for calming, the middle notes are great ones to use. And it's one of the reasons why the floral oils are so often chosen for fragrances, is because they last longer than say like citrus, and they have this sort of soothing, calming quality of base notes, but they also have uplift of the top notes. So they're kind of like the baby bear. They satisfy all your needs in a way. And so that's the florals would be a good example of that. Lavender is a great example of that. And then finally we have the base notes. And the base notes are the ones that are the heavy, thick, linger oils. Generally, I tend to use less of those in my diffuser blends. So for example, yesterday I made a blend that had patchouli in it, and patchouli is a base note. It's very thick. It's not a wood. These are usually wood and root oils. Patchouli is an exception to that, but usually it's like cedarwood, sandalwood, vetiver, which is a root, things that are heavy and thick. You'll notice I have a dropper top. This is vetiver, and I'll show you why, because it's a super thick oil. And see, it's like syrupy. Hopefully you can see that. And it takes forever to come out of the bottle. These are ones you need a lot less of. So if I do a diffuser blend that say has, in a big diffuser, say has like, 8 or 9 drops of oil, one of those will be patchouli, because if I do more than that, all I will smell is patchouli. The base notes, things like vetiver, patchouli, and so on, those are the ones that stay around longer, and they will, like after the, say we have a diffuser blend, this would be a really good balanced diffuser blend. Probably would smell really super yummy too, of lemon, lavender, and vetiver. So say that's our diffuser blend, lemon, lavender, and vetiver. The first thing you would smell is the lemon, and then it would evaporate. The second thing you would smell is the lavender. It would linger a little bit longer. So say you went over an hour, you'd immediately smell the lemon, and then you'd smell the lavender. And the thing that would last the longest is the vetiver. With these, if you put a lot in, they will overpower the diffuser blend. So if you're really looking for grounding, calming, soothing, you love soul catcher, you love the heavy notes. I do too. They're some of my favorite oils, but you have to be really mindful about how much you use, because they can take over your blend. And they also, if you put a lot in your diffuser, then you really, really have to clean it really, really well, because they will not go away. I have this diffuser actually is, I think, the one that we used vetiver in, and it's like, I had to clean it like 3 or 4 times to get all the vetiver out. It just is so thick that it doesn't go away. That is really helpful if you're looking for calming, grounding, if you're feeling, unsettled, you can't do that, then these are really good. The base notes can make you feel safe and protected. They're great to use on the bottoms of your feet. Lavender is a really tricky one, I will say. In my experience, there's 2 oils that people feel really have strong opinions about, and those are patchouli and lavender. And people either love lavender or they hate lavender. And lavender, there's a very small population of people that don't find it soothing, that find it very stimulating. So for anxiousness, I recommend all the heavy woods ones that you like. There's a blend called Balance. There's a blend called Adaptive, Peace. Those are 3 blends from doTERRA that are super calming. And vetiver is by far and away one of the best ones for anxiousness, and Copaiba is another good one. The heavy grounding oils are great for sleep. They're great for anxiousness. They're great for nervousness, any of those kind of things. Those are the base notes. So when you're coming around to doing a diffuser blend, you get to make a decision, like, are you looking for calming and grounding? Are you looking for sort of just like even keel? Are you looking for uplift? And that's how you choose to put your oils in combination. A really nice blend, you kind of can't go wrong if you have one of each. So if you have a high note, a top note, a middle note, and a base note, it can feel really balanced. It's like a yoga class that starts with centering and then builds up and comes back. If you've been through a yoga class that like really sort of brings you up and then brings you down nice and softly, you'll come out of it feeling really satisfied. And if you have a diffuser blend with the 3, you get migraines, you must be careful, looking for calm. Yeah. So you just have to be sort of like use a little bit less, find out what works for you and stick with it is usually what I recommend. And there's lots of options for that, lots of options for the calm as well. Look to floral oils. They tend to be a little bit intense for some people, so maybe the woodsy for calming and soothing. So in terms of diffuser blends, so there are some things to consider. What's the energy of the blend you're looking for? How big is your diffuser? And a question I often get is, if you mix certain things, is there any combination that is wrong? And what I usually tell people is no. There's no combination that's wrong unless you're trying to go to sleep and you put in something really bright and sparkly, or you're trying to wake up and you put in something very like soporific. Those are, you want to avoid trying to make a blend that's energetically different than what you want. But there's no like explosions or problems if you mix certain oils. If you don't like the blend you make, dump it out and start again. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And play with what you have. Try it. What I usually recommend to people is if you make a blend you like, write it down so you don't forget it. I have some that I do all the time. Peppermint, wild orange, and green mandarin. I love adaptive lime and patchouli. I love on guard peppermint and lemon. I love Siberian fir, lemongrass, and cypress. I like cypress, wild orange, geranium, and coriander. Like I have blends I use all the time. And I actually have a PDF of some of my favorite blends. If you want that, just message me and I'll happily send it to you. So I hope that's helpful. Think about the heaviness of the oil, the brightness of the oil. What is your intention? You know, are you looking to be awakened? Are you looking to be detoxifying the space? Are you looking for sleep? And you pick your blend that way and just try it. Don't be afraid to try different combinations. Stick with somewhere in the 1 to 3 of each oil, and if it's a really thick oil, go with 1, and if it's a really bright, sparkly, watery, easily diffused oil, you can add a little bit more. Last thing, you want to make sure you're cleaning your diffuser, which I need to do periodically, and so you just follow the directions on your diffuser on how to do that. The doTERRA ones, you'll add 1 to 2 tablespoons. Sometimes they say drops, but if you're using a lot of thick oils, you know, add a tablespoon or a teaspoon of white vinegar, diffuse that, and then kind of wipe it out. All right, you guys, I hope that helps. I hope you're doing all right, and she's chilling out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.